Will be Lazio to get us underway here in the Allianz Arena in Munich. A reminder, they lead 1-0 from the first leg in Rome. Ciro Immobile's penalty, their talismanic captain, their record goal scorer, replacing Tate Castellanos up front. That is their only change from their last gasp defeat by AC Milan. And they get us underway, playing from left to right. Ball goes all the way out of play for a goal kick. Pat Nevin.
Do you know, it's a long time since I've seen a start like that from any team. They played what was almost a rugby formation with two players back, like a full back, and the rest on the line sprinting forward. Unfortunately, they pumped the ball forward and it's straight out of play.
So, Bayern in possession just outside their own penalty area. Thomas Tuchel, who we know because of this disappointing campaign will be leaving in the summer. The club have announced that already, but he's in charge until the end of the season. You would think, unless things go drastically wrong. He makes two changes from the side that conceded a late equaliser against Freiburg. Leroy Sané is back after injury, and Matthijs de Ligt returning at the back. Tel and Kim Min-jae dropping to the bench. Serge Gnabry, formerly of Arsenal, also amongst the subs for the first time in nearly 3 months after recovering from injury, as Bayern bring the ball down the right-hand side, played into the penalty area, down to the byline, chipped across, looking for Müller, who gets the header on it but can only flick it out of the penalty area. Guerrero tries to send it into Sané. Lazio will get the foot in and break down the right-hand side with the former West Ham man, Felipe Anderson. Over the halfway line he goes, cuts it in field, a little bit of space. Luis Alberto will play it forward to Immobile, but it's covered well by Bayern at the back. Eric Dyer will play it back to Manuel Neuer. Dyer, who joins on loan in January, but last week has activated that clause which will see him leave Tottenham permanently in the summer, bringing to an end almost a decade of service with Spurs.
Just watching the way they're playing just now, always wondered where Miller's going to play. And he's almost playing as a double centre forward with Harry Kane, isn't he? And he's getting up there right beside him. Sometimes Harry's on point, sometimes it's Miller's on point, and they've already linked up together well. I mean, two very, very intelligent footballers, but it underlines the question that you were asking before. Are they going to go for it? Of course they are.
They are indeed. They're in possession by Munich, playing in the reds and white shirts, the red shorts and the red socks. Lazio all in dark blue this evening. Bayern playing from right to left, away from that end, away to our right, which is bouncing up and down, the red and white flags waving, already creating an atmosphere inside the Allianz Arena as Bayern bring the ball down the right-hand side once more. A start of intent, a start of purpose, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, they've had most of the play. They've been twice that Lazio have got out of their own half. First was a lumped ball from the kick-off, and the second time was a really neat break. And it looks like that's the way the game's going to go. It's going to settle into that sort of pattern.
Plenty of Football League action this evening. We'll keep you right across it on 5 Live. Reporters at key games in the Championship and League One and League Two. Mansfield have taken the lead against MK Dons. They lead by a goal to nil. Here are Bayern in possession. Matteo Guendouzi, formerly of Arsenal, gets the footing for Lazio, but Bayern will have it once more with Leon Goretzka. Plays it forwards up to the halfway line. Guendouzi putting on the pressure, so Bayern go out to Guerrero out on this left-hand side, and now Goretzka once more. Lovely ball out to the right-hand side, and Bayern will bring it forwards into the penalty area, headed away at the back by Lazio, but Sané will pick it up once more as Bayern keep up the pressure, camped outside this Lazio penalty area. They trail 1-0 from the first leg, 0-0 on the night here on 5 Live, 3.5 minutes played. Here's Jamal Musiala out to the left-hand side, and Guerrero plays the ball in looking for Harry Kane. It's cleared away by Vecino in the centre for Lazio, and here goes Felipe Anderson again. Down the right-hand side he goes, ball goes out of play, deflection off Goretzka, Lazio throw.
First piece of good movement we've seen from Sané. Came off the line there and created a huge amount of space on the far side there. It's vitally important that he's involved in the game, and he tries to link up with the aforementioned Müller and Harry Kane. But they have got that forward line. Musiala's on the left, Sané's on the right, two strikers as well. So a lot being asked of Goretzka and Pavlovic in the midfield there.
Charlton have taken the lead at Cheltenham in League One by a goal to nil. And Lazio have the ball with Luca Pellegrini over on the halfway line. So we can take you through the teams. Manuel Neuer in goal for Bayern. The back four of Kimmich, De Ligt, Dyer and Guerrero. Ahead of them Pavlovic, the 19-year-old. He's had a breakthrough season. And Goretzka with Sané, Müller and Musiala supporting Harry Kane up top. Lazio just inside the Bayern half. Here is Guendouzi plays it out to the right-hand side, and Maricic, who will lay it off to Felipe Anderson, who's looked lively in these early stages down that right-hand side. Eases past Musiala for Lazio, and will just check as he approaches the corner flag, plays it back, a little bit of space for Guendouzi, approaches the penalty area, which is shot across goal. It's wide, and Neuer can watch it wide.
Yeah, he got himself in a good position there, but that's what they're good at. They'll play quite deep, they break very, very quickly. You're right about Felipe Anderson, he looks up for it today on that right-hand side. That's going to be a real battle between him and Guerrero, but Guendouzi there might have been better taking on his left foot and trying to curl it in the far corner with his left foot, but they've had a shot at goal, which is more than Bayern have had.
Bayern in possession midway through their own half. Lazio with Provedel in goal, the back four of Maricic, Gila, Romagnoli and Pellegrini, Guendouzi, Vecino and the former Liverpool player Luis Alberto in the midfield, with Anderson, Zaccagni and Immobile up front as Bayern come forward now. Here is Thomas Muller, plays it to Sane, straight at Provedel. Lovely Bayern move.
Well, I mentioned this before there about Sane coming off the right wing there and dragging players. There is a constant overlap on that side now. Sarri's got to do something about that. He cannot allow that to keep on going. You find him Pellegrini, he's getting on 2-on-1s against him time and time again at that left back position. If that keeps on happening, they'll get something out of it by him.
Here goes Guendouzi over the halfway line, plays it out to the right hand side again. Lazio look for the outlook of Felipe Anderson, finds Guendouzi once more edge of the penalty area, plays it into Luis Alberto, down to the byline, blocks behind but won't go behind, so Alberto gets the ball back in and it's eventually cleared away by Eric Dyer, out of play for Lazio, though Anderson is causing all sorts of problems with intelligent runs into the area by Alberto and Guendouzi.
Huge amount of space. Now it's because they've got those two centre midfield players. If you're playing what is close to a 4-2-4, you've got two players in the midfield, there is going to be gaps, and at the moment Felipe Anderson's the man that finds them, and Guendouzi.
Lovely turn by Guendouzi, plays the ball to the edge of the 6-yard box, but Immobile was just behind it. Healer intercepts, plays it forward once again for Lazio, but Dyer this time will bring the ball down and control. A lovely ball over the top to find Leroy Sané, who advances over the halfway line for Bayern Munich, running at that Lazio defence, still going. Sané lays it off, Musiala, brilliant block. Well, they're shouting for a handball there, but they're not going to get it, Bayern. It goes out of play for a corner. In fact, in the end, I think they were shouting at each other, weren't they? Thomas Muller and Leroy Sané. Bayern corner, 0-0. Frenetic pace of this game, 7.5 minutes gone on 5-9.
You have took the words out of my mouth there. It's brilliant. The tension every time that Lazio get up the pitch, there's pure tension around this, but the break is lightning quick, and once again it's that right hand side and Sané getting into dangerous areas.
Equaliser for MK Dons at Mansfield, 1-1 in League 2. Bayern with this corner over on the far side in this Champions League second leg, last 16 match. Lazio leading 1-0 from the first leg in Rome. Bayern with the set piece over on the far side, whipped in high, the header was down by De Ligt, and it will bounce behind for a Lazio goal kick. 0-0, 1-0 to Lazio on aggregate.
Very interesting there, the corner kick came in, and Harry Kane, former Spurs, who's been marked by Guendouzi, former Arsenal, and he was pushing, grabbing. You thought, okay, we know what's happening here. When the corner came in, Guendouzi just left him, just absolutely left him, allowed him to run off. I have no idea what's going on there. That is another thing to watch in this game as we go on from set pieces, because the idea of allowing Harry Kane to run away from you in the box is not necessarily a good one.
Lazio with the throw, just inside their own half, in front of their manager Maurizio Sarri. Two former Chelsea managers, of course, coming up against each other this evening. Thomas Tuchel winning this competition with Chelsea. Maurizio Sarri picking up the first major trophy of his career with Chelsea as well in the Europa League, as Lazio spread the play out to the left-hand side, but it's wasted, and Bayern in possession outside their own penalty area. 0-0 on the night, 1-0 Lazio lead on aggregate as Bayern pick it up once more. Bayern, who, as we mentioned before this game here on 5 Live, sits second in the Bundesliga, 10 points behind Bayer Leverkusen. It's not been a great season for Lazio either. They're 9th in Serie A, having finished runners-up last season. As Musiala, nice bit of footwork, well challenged in the centre by Vecino for Lazio, who just spreads his hands out and says, let's just calm down, get a bit of possession, as Pellegrini plays it over the top, and the run is made down that left-hand side by Zaccagni. To the edge of the area he goes, pulls it back to Luis Alberto, who drives. It's blocked away by Bayern. Lazio looking dangerous every time they get forward. Little interchanging passes between Anderson and Guendouzi. And then Guendouzi is bundled over right in front of the assistant referee by Musiala. Free kick to Lazio, wide right position, just about level with the edge of the penalty area.
Musiala's had a very, very odd start to this game of football. He's just wiped him out there. That could easily have been a yellow card there. No attempt to go to the ball at all. Giving away a free kick in a dangerous area. On top of that, it looks as if he's wearing skates. He's got to do something about his boots. He's got the wrong studs on.
Yeah, former Chelsea and Southampton youngster Jamal Musiala joined their academy at Bayern in 2019. Now having to defend this free kick that he has conceded. Luis Alberto is one of the players over at Zaccagni as well. It will be Luis Alberto. Plays it in, it's headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Immobile will bring it down and play it to Pellegrini on the left-hand side. Up against Kimmich, who concedes the corner, filling it at right back again. Joshua Kimmich, it's a position that he has filled in a number of times during his career, but they are stretched defensively by, and they don't have a Pumecano either after he was sent off in the first leg.
Well, it's very, very clear that Zaccagni has got the pace of Kimmich. There's not even a doubt about that. So if Zaccagni can get one-on-one quite a few times with a ball over the top, Kimmich is no young man anymore. That's a problem. He's a great player, but not necessarily that quick anymore.
So corner to Lazio from this left-hand side, swung in and headed away by Bayern once more inside the 6-yard box, helped on by Lazio towards the penalty area again. Bayern will clear once more, headed forward once again by Lazio, who will take control. It is Lazio, dink ball into the area, just about cleared away by Bayern, but they are having to do some last-ditch defending here as the ball spins up towards halfway. So Lazio in possession, 0-0 here. Let's find out how it started in the other Champions League tie second leg. Real Sociedad against PSG. Conor McNamara.
10 minutes played, 0-0 on the night. Paris Saint-Germain still leading 2-0 on aggregate, so Sociedad must score at least twice. Mbappe has created the first big chance, a burst to the byline, he pulled it back for Zaire Emery. He's only 3 yards out. The goalkeeper Ramiro makes a brilliant save. Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 0, PSG going through as it stands.
Sane has an effort block for Bayern just outside the area, and now Lazio are off on the counter again. Zaccagni's ball though gets a deflection, and Sane will pick it up again in the centre circle for Bayern. Goal at Hull in the Championship. Tom Gale.
Hull 1, Birmingham 0. Vicki, the corner swung in. Hull win the knockdown, and it's Ozan Tufan inside the 6-yard box to stab it home. We've played 26 minutes. Hull 1, Birmingham 0.
Goal at Barnsley in League One. Ellen Ellard.
Barnsley have taken the lead. John McAtee, central. He'd missed a sitter in the same position just moments before, but made no mistake this time for his 7th of the season. Barnsley 1, Bolton 0.
Bayern in possession in the centre circle. Peterborough have got an equaliser against Northampton in League One. And you're up to date here on 5 Live. Harry Kane picks up the ball for Bayern Munich. Played forwards. Does it get a little deflection? It does. It'll be a corner to Bayern. 0-0 on the night. 1-0 Lazio lead on aggregate. 12 minutes gone. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, there was a lovely break on the left-hand side for Lazio a moment ago. And it was that man Zaccagni again. He tried to play a little reverse pass in to centre forward. Now, it didn't reach it, but you could tell by the reaction he was very close. And had it got through to Immobile with nobody to beat, we all know what Immobile does. So I am a little bit lucky there. I don't think many of the fans know how lucky they are to get away with that one.
So Bayern Munich preparing to take this corner. Our referee from Slovenia, Slavko Vincic, wasn't quite happy with the placement, but he is now. So Bayern with the opportunity to swing it in. Instead they play it short. Here is Musiala outside the penalty area. Drives, beaten away well by Provedel. Will be picked up by De Ligt on this right-hand side. Stops it going out for the throw. De Ligt with a delivery. Straight into the first man, Pellegrini, but Immobile's lost out, and Sane goes for the curler, 25 yards out, high over the bar. And Pat Nevin, you're shaking your head.
Well, I'm shaking my head, but listen to the fans. Few boos there, whistles. They're very unhappy with Sane there. You're in a position to put a great ball in. You've got plenty of players in there. If you take a shot from that angle, from 27, 28 yards out, make sure it's on target. It was nowhere near it, so about an edge with Sane. He's had a good start, but the minute he makes a mistake, the fans are on his back.
2 quick-fire goals for Peterborough in League One. They now lead Northampton by 2 goals to 1. at home, and Bayern have won back possession, and here is Eric Dyer who will square it to De Ligt. And the flags are still waving behind the goal, away to our right, but perhaps slightly more forlornly than they were.
I mean, if you've been here often enough over the years, you know that with 20 minutes to go, if it's still nil, these Bayern fans, or 1-1 or whatever, they still think they can do it. They've got late goals all the way through the history of their clubs, but you can see there is at least some nervousness in there.
Yeah, long way to go. They only trail 1-0 on aggregate, 0-0 on the night. They've lost possession over on the right-hand side, though, and Pellegrini will clear, but Lazio very deep there, and De Ligt has an easy task to pick it up on the halfway line.
It's odd that I mentioned the fact that a couple of players are slipping. They really soaked this pitch. When the players went in after their warm-up, they absolutely battered the water on it. And I think a few of them were wearing studs that were suited to before that drenching.
Here goes Pavlovic for Bayern Munich, sprints the ball out to the right-hand side. And it's collected once more by Kimmich, who loves to get forward on that right-hand side. Goretzka now, as Bayern move the ball back into a central position, and now to the left, and Guerrero approaching the penalty area. Here is Musiala, 1-2 with Guerrero, pulls the ball across, and it was just behind Müller, who couldn't sort his feet out, and Lazio clear away, but the Bayern pressure is growing.
It is, in the left-hand side for once now. It hasn't been happening so far, but this time, as you say, Guerrero, Musiala, they work together really well there. Got the ball to the byline, couldn't find a red and white shot.
Former Chelsea and Scotland winger Pat Nevin with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live as Sane plays it to Kane, into his feet, edge of the D. Kane, little deflection just wide. Well, Bayern are appealing for that deflection, and in the end, referee Slavko Vincic did spot it. It is a Bayern corner.
Harry's first touch was terrible there. Absolutely awful. Problem with defenders, when Harry's first touch is terrible, the second one's usually a cracker, and that one was, and without a deflection, that could have nestled in the corner of the net.
Bayern corner, 0-0 on the night. Lazio a goal ahead on aggregate from the first leg.
The referee's got a problem. I suspect his whistle's stopped working. It's an old school problem.
That happen these
Yeah,
days?
it's an old school problem, isn't it? Is it? Oh no, he's doing something to. It's his watch. He's changing his watch.
Okay. Well, we need that for the goal line technology. Goal at Real Sociedad against PSG. Conor McNamara.
Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night, and who else but Kylian Mbappe? It's a quite wonderful goal. He's at the byline on the left-hand side, he cuts in, he bamboozles the defenders, and then he puts it across the face of the goalkeeper and tucks it to the far bottom corner. That's the sort of moment that Paris Saint-Germain fans will miss when Mbappe moves to Spain in the summer, but for now he's still their man, and he's firing them towards the next round. They lead 3-0 on aggregate now.
Lazio have cleared the Bayern corner, but Bayern are coming again. Excellent sliding interception by Maricic as that ball came back in from Sane. And Neuer, very much playing the role of the sweeper keeper, is up to the edge of the centre circle to start Bayern off on the attack once again. 0-0, 1-0, Lazio lead on aggregate.
Yeah, but had they got the right ball played in the break there, they were 2 against 1. Lazio, they didn't play the right. Well, I said 2 against 1. You're right, Neuer was there as well, which changes things a little bit. But they did make it work. And then Sane almost get through 2 seconds later. I'm astounded this game is actually still 0-0, because not clear-cut chances, but there have been openings.
Yeah, really fine margins, isn't it? Just a slight margin on a pass here and there, a slightly softer, slightly faster as the ball goes out of play for a Lazio throw deep in their own territory. But we have to say, in the first 10 minutes, it was Bayern pressure, but Lazio were getting forward fairly regularly on the counter. Last 5 minutes or so, it's been all Bayern.
Yeah, but then I don't think they're over worried about that, as long as they aren't getting loads of shots on target. They're getting their defenders back, they're well organised, and they know that there are breaks possible there. At this point in time, the psychology of the first goal is really interesting. If Bayern get it with their tails up after that, you almost think they could run away with it. Whereas if Bayern lose and it goes to 2-0, that'll be so hard to come back from.
Goal at Leeds in the Championship, Charlie Slater.
33 minutes on the clock, finally Leeds lead, chance after chance after chance. Dan James hits it, takes a flick off a Stoke defender, buries itself in the bottom corner. Leeds 1, Stoke 0.
Also in the Championship, Coventry now 3-0 up against Rotherham. What a race it is for promotion in England's second tier. Here in the Champions League last 16, it's 0-0 between Bayern Munich and Lazio on the night. Lazio lead by 1-0 on aggregate, and they've just won a free kick, the visitors, on the halfway line.
That's the old trick where, you know, you're lost the possession, so you throw yourself across the player and you get a free kick for it. Referees do fall for that one a lot.
Guendouzi lifts the ball forward looking for Maricic. Eric Dyer comes across and takes charge, clears the ball out of play for a Lazio throw. Lazio deep in Bayern territory. Lazio, who are looking to reach the quarterfinals of this competition for only the second time. It's only the third time, in fact, that they've been in the knockout stages. Last time was the last 16 back in 2021, and they lost 6-2 on aggregate to Bayern. Bayern have won the ball back. Lovely flick by Müller to keep that attack going to Pavlovic, and now Sane has it down the right hand side. Kimmich is up there in support. Sane delayed by Luis Alberto, and then plays a terrible pass straight to Felipe Anderson, who for once doesn't run towards the halfway line. He's waiting for the dark blue shirts to arrive, then he's pulled back by Harry Kane. Free kick to Lazio. What do we make of that, Pat Nevin?
Well, I'd say 90% of the time the referee gives a yellow card out there. He's just dragged them back. Like, you basically cannot do that. And referees will always say it's not the case. There are certain players that get away with certain things. I think a good number of players on that pitch tonight would have got a yellow card for that. Harry didn't.
Lazio in possession just outside their own penalty area. I just wonder whether he got the benefit of the doubt there, because Felipe Anderson wasn't exactly on the break, was he? He'd taken about 10 seconds to move about 5 yards. He'd stopped his own counter-attack.
Yeah, but you still can't drag people back with their neck.
Let's head for another update from Real Sociedad. Conor McNamara.
Well, it's still 1-0 on the night to PSG, but just a little aside for you, Vicki. In the aftermath of the Mbappe goal, the restart was delayed. There had been a VAR check, but that's not the reason. The shot from Mbappe was so powerful, it dislodged the net from the side of the post. Hot shot, Hamish stuff from Kylian Mbappe. It is Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1.
Thanks very much, Conor. Still goalless here in Munich. Lazio leading 1-0 on aggregate.
Before you go on, I need to find out if you know who Hot Shot Hamish is. Vicky.
You pick that up for me, Pat.
I'll tell you later.
Do you know as well, it's one of those cliches we use, that almost took the net out, almost took the back of the net off, and when it actually does, that's something pretty special. Not just a commentator's cliche as Lazio work it through the Bayern half. Here is Immobile, their captain, their record goal scorer. In field to Pellegrini, and now Vicino out to the right hand side, and Maricic. A little rare spell of possession for Lazio, and they're working it nicely. Anderson back to Vicino. He's challenged by Pavlovic, who goes down and wins the free kick. And Bayern will take this set piece midway through their own half.
Right. And for anyone younger than a certain age listening, Hot Shot Hamish was a comic book character. I can't remember if it was shoot or goal or whatever. But, he was Scottish and he could hit the ball very hard, as you could imagine.
There you go, Pat Nevin, always here to provide context of a certain era.
And indeed Conor for getting it.
Bayern in possession. Out to the left-hand side, they work it with Guerrero. Back in field once more to Leon Goretzka. As the flags, the red and white, continue to wave away to our right-hand side. As Bayern working over the halfway line. No denying how disappointing this season has been for them, and the form they're in at the moment. Just one win in their last 5 games in all competitions. We mentioned they went out of the German Cup to third-tier opposition as well. And all of that has meant that they will be parting ways with Thomas Tuchel in the summer. It's a very weird situation, isn't it? You know, Tuchel's still in position, announced when they said that he would be leaving until the end of the season, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if they don't go through it.
Yeah. Here is Goretzka. There's still just a goal in this tie. It went to Lazio in Rome from the penalty spot. Immobile in the first leg. Ball forward by Pavlovic, pulled back inside the penalty area, pulled across Musiala, brilliant block on the edge of the 6-yard box, and then Guerrero's follow-up is blocked away as well. Last-ditch defending by Lazio. It stays at 0-0 on the night. 1-0 Lazio lead on aggregate. But again, dangerous from Bayern.
Yeah, good positions, but I think they really wanted to fault the Harry Kane, and it's just not falling to him. It's falling to just about everyone else when they've got into that area.
Coventry now 4-0 up against Rotherham in the Championship. And here come Bayern, but they've lost possession. Guendouzi won't hold on to it for Lazio though, and then a trip was that? Yes, it was on Guerrero from Felipe Anderson, and Pavlovic gets things moving quickly. once again. Goretzka on the halfway line, plays it to Matthäus de Ligt as Bayern work it between that back line, and Lazio just start to push up a little bit more. Lazio, who lost their last match very late on to AC Milan, they ended up having 3 players sent off in that game, 2 of them in added time. One of them is Guendouzi, he's on the ball here but can't win that ball with the header.
To be fair, some of the refereeing was an absolute joke in that game, that has to be said.
Guendouzi got sent off for pushing over Pulisic, very soft.
I watched it, it was terrible.
Yeah. Bayern Munich in possession now on the right hand side of the penalty area, lifted in, good take by Provedel inside his own 6-yard box. The Lazio goalkeeper, all in bright yellow, their established number 1. He's been ever present in the league and the Champions League this season, and he commanded that 6-yard area well there.
It's interesting because, talk right at the start that you've got Müller and you've got Kane together, and both of them can play up top, both of them can play 10. And right at the start it looks as if they would work together well because they're intelligent players, but it hasn't really happened yet.
Here comes Luis Alberto for Lazio, plays it out to the left-hand side, where Lazio almost run into trouble. Immobile dispossessed inside the penalty area and cleared up towards the halfway line, where it will be collected for Lazio by their centre-half Alessio Romagnoli. And Lazio will work it down this left-hand side. Here is Immobile dropping deep, as Kane so often does. The 2 players who will be facing off as captains of their country if they should meet at the Euros, as Guendouzi plays it in field as the ball is dinked across into the penalty area and claimed well by Neuer, who we have to say has had very little to do. I think Provedel's been the busier goalkeeper at the other end, but Lazio still have looked dangerous around the penalty area as producer Rob has found it. Roy of the Rovers, hot shot Hamish, there we go.
Just surprised he's not got a kilt on. I think he wore a kilt quite frequently. You can see people going straight to the internet right now. Hot shot Hamish.
Barrow leading Gillingham by a 1-0 in League 2 as Bayern come down this right-hand side, approaching the penalty area. Alberto gets the foot in and then was caught by Kimmich, who had made the run but lost the ball. And Lazio have a free kick, and Luis Alberto is just wagging his finger there at the referee Slavko Vincic. Perhaps thought that could have deserved a little bit more. Also, he's lost a boot in that challenge, so wanted to make sure that the referee didn't say they had to restart play immediately.
But it's not been a kind of game where Lazio come out and try to just defend the whole time. When they get the ball, they commit players forward. It's absolutely not a backs to the wall, worried every 2 seconds and being very the way some Italian football in the past was played. So yeah, positivity there. But if you listen around this ground, you've got the Bayern supporters who are the ultras behind the goal to the right hand side. You're hearing just as much from those Lazio fans as you are hearing from the Bayern fans just now. I think they are delighted with how it's gone so far.
Long ball over the top will roll all the way through to Manuel Neuer, who bowls it out underarm to Eric Dyer as Thomas Tuchel stands up in his technical area, folds his arms and watches Musiala lose the ball to Guendouzi, and now Felipe Anderson will charge through the Bayern half, little backfield trying to find Immobile, who loses his footing again. His players are want to do inside the Allianz Arena this evening, but Lazio have won it back on the left-hand side with Zaccagni, and now Vecino. Luis Alberto will pick it up from Immobile. This is really nicely worked by the Serie A side. They force their way into the penalty area, but then it just runs away from Luis Alberto, and Kimmich will clear up towards the halfway line, but can't be held on to by Müller, and Lazio have it back 0-0 on the night. 28 minutes gone here in Munich. Lazio still a goal to the good on aggregate.
What is very, very noticeable, although yes, I think they get more of the play, Bayern Munich, but would you say it was controlling the game? I wouldn't say it was controlling the game. I think it's a long way short. Okay, we're used to watching Liverpool's and Manchester City's utterly dominate and control the game. Doesn't feel that comfortable control that I expected them to have for large periods of this game.
So Lazio with the throw. let's head to the Championship. Second place Ipswich up against Bristol City. That was an 8 o'clock kick-off. Paul Scott can bring us the latest.
Yeah, into the 28th minute here. It is Ipswich 0, Bristol City 0. Just one shot on target. It came after 22 minutes. Kiefer Moore with the effort after good play by Sam Morsey. It was well saved by Max O'Leary, who got down low and got down well. Ipswich 0, Bristol City 0.
Provedel with the ball for Lazio inside his own penalty area. I think Maurizio Sarri will be pretty pleased with how this half has gone so far.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, you know, there's been half chances, not even chances, getting the ball into dangerous areas. Got to the byline once or twice. They've got a few corners as well, Bayern Munich. But, you know, considering where we are, considering the pressure that they're expecting to be under, I don't think it's been like that. But I've watched Bayern for many, many years. They can turn it up. They can slowly but surely turn up the gas as it goes on. But at the moment, I'm wondering if they're good enough to be able to do that.
What can Harry Kane do? Plays the ball out to the left-hand side, picked up by Guerrero. Müller will play it back to Guerrero midway through the Lazio half. 0-0 on the night, 1-0 Lazio lead on aggregate. 30 minutes gone here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Reminder, we will have commentary of Manchester City's second leg tie against FC Copenhagen tomorrow from 8 o'clock. Manchester City leading 3-1 from the first leg, and Bayern have won a free kick here, just shy of 30 yards out. Müller and Guendouzi in conversation, walking away from that, and Rafael Guerrero will come and stand over this for Bayern. They need the breakthrough, and they really do need it to come to. Yes, there's plenty of time to play, but the longer it goes on like this, the more Lazio will grow in confidence.
One of the other things that they do miss is, you know, they've not got Kim here on the pitch. They've not got McCannell, who's a player who's really, both of them very, very tall. Neither on the pitch just now, for two different reasons, it has to be said, and that's a big miss for these crosses from corners and free kicks.
Can somebody else provide the goods? Not that time. Kimmich sends it in. It's a free kick anyway, as Immobile went down, but Lazio had already cleared up towards halfway. Really poor delivery from Kimmich. Yeah, and he got it in the neck from a few of his players there, you know, and considering, you know, hugely respected player, not just for Bayern but for Germany as well. They didn't let up on him there, did they? Shouting and ball and screaming, which tells you a little bit of uncertainty within the group just now. Peterborough scored again against Northampton in League One, 3-1. They now lead. Did get a little pat on the back from 19-year-old Alexander Pavlovic as he just jogged past him there, Kimmich, but it was really poor delivery as Lazio send it forward with Marasic. Cleared out of play, and it will be a Bayern throw, which Guerrero will take. 0-0 on the night, 1-0 Lazio leads on aggregate. Here is De Ligt, midway through his own half, squares it to Eric Dyer as we look around at the packed stands here. 75,000 sellout crowd at the Allianz Arena, and the Lazio flags are waving right high up away to our left, the top of that third tier, these three tiers that encircle this entire stadium, which has the curved half roof that comes across as well, almost like a running track as you look above. It's all lit up in red. Really does feel like a contained, passionate, raucous atmosphere when it gets going, and it might do here if Bayern can find the breakthrough down the right-hand side. Oh, the referee's slipped there. Lazio have won back possession, so it's going to be a drop ball to Bayern Munich, who were in possession. The referee slipped over, and the ball hit him. And do you know, I can't think of a referee just slipping over. Like, I mean, obviously they do fall over, but it just shows, doesn't it, in terms of the number of players that are falling over. If the referee, who's not really running at the same speed, loses his footing as well.
He tried to get away from it, but it's playing right early on, you know, 2 or 3 minutes into the game. Wait a minute, any player who runs and tries to stop when the ball goes behind them, I mean, it is raining a little bit, we've got undercover here, but it's very, very clear that that is not a good surface if you want to twist and turn.
Here comes Thomas Müller, edge of the penalty area, plays it to Guerrero, who whips it across. Good block away at the back by Marasic. It will be a Bayern corner. Quickly to Real Sociedad, Conor McNamara.
It is still Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Kylian Mbappe's goal separating them. The Frenchman almost got a second on the half-hour mark. A low shot cracked towards the near post. Goalkeeper Ramiro making a fantastic save to stretch down. Paris Saint-Germain 3-0 up on aggregate and going through as things stand.
Corner to Bayern, 0-0. As things stand here, it's Lazio going through with the goal from the first leg, as the corner is all across. Provedel just got something on it. He wants a free kick. It's not been given, but he did well. Managed to punch it out of his 6-yard box, and the ball goes all the way through for a throw to Bayern Munich over on the far side. And just before that corner was taken, the increase in noise that you heard around the Allianz Arena, because Manuel Neuer, standing in the centre circle, all in green, is waving his hands up and down, saying, come on, we need you. We need you, we need the noise, we're up against it here. Kimmich into the area for Bayern, pulls it across, Dyer was in there, flicks the header across goal and behind.
Yeah, it is incredible. It made a difference. Neuer coming out there, it changed not only the fan base, but it changed the players. It lifted them a bit. And that's brilliant play by Manuel Neuer, because just for 10 minutes there, you're looking at Bayern and you think, are you believing this? You know, and he's saying, no, you've got to believe this. So, well done, Neuer. Had an effect there, but can it continue?
Lazio play the ball forward, will be intercepted on the halfway line, and Bayern coming forward down the left-hand side. Very good challenge by Hila, but Bayern will look to take the throw quickly with Müller, and they do so. Anderson won't intercept. It's back on the halfway line with Guerrero. Half-time at Hull in the Championship. Tom Gale.
Hull 1, Birmingham 0, Vicki. Two fans tap in, which possibly came off his arm, currently consolidating Hull's place inside the top 6. The visitors have rarely threatened. Half-time, Hull 1, Birmingham 0.
Ball forward from Bayern, just couldn't be trapped there by Thomas Müller. Had he managed to control, he was in down that left-hand side.
Yes, but the problem is, if you make half a movement one way, you ain't getting back on this surface. But, you know, nice little idea there. But it still doesn't look completely and utterly controlled there. I noticed that he's gone a little bit deeper now, almost playing in a 10 role, which I think is a good idea, because the two up front wasn't quite working.
Provedel, the latest to slip over the Lazio goalkeeper, as he provides a very good clearance out to the left-hand side, and Lazio are coming forward with Luis Alberto. And now Zaccagni, as Pellegrini is an option. Ball into the area, comes all the way through to Immobile, who misses the header, heads wide, inside the 6-yard box. It's a huge miss, and outside the penalty area, again Doozy fell to his knees as well. He couldn't believe it, that their captain, their record goal scorer, hasn't stuck that ball into the back of the net. Got a little deflection on the way through off De Ligt, but Immobile is right there inside the 6-yard box. That should be 1-0 Lazio on the night, 2-0 on aggregate.
Yes, it should be 1-0. You know, top goal scorers put them away. But the point you make about De Ligt, in slow motion it looks as if it's a stinker of a chance he's missed. It has had a deflection. He's had to change his position. He's got his head on it, but just that little flick is the reason why he missed that chance.
Down the right-hand side go Bayern, looking to take advantage at the other end, and they'll play it back to 25 yards out. As you say, the deflection, it does change the flight of the ball. It makes it a more difficult chance than it might have been, but still, that point, he was unmarked. He's still right there.
Yeah, but at that point in time, what you're not then doing is you're not then moving your neck, and you know what you're going to do. You're just redirecting, and that changes everything.
Here come Bayern with Leroy Sané. Kane can't control. Musiala does work it into the penalty area out to the left-hand side, and Guerrero pulls it back to Sané, edge of the box. It is so congested. There are so many dark blue shirts. A wall in front of the Lazio goal. The shot is driven in from 30 yards by De Ligt. Now has a bit of defending to do as Lazio play the ball forward. He does it well. He plays it away from Immobile and pulls the ball back to the edge of the centre circle, and Pavlovic, the 19-year-old, who comes forward now with Goretzka, and out to the left-hand side. Bayern building, 8 minutes to go until half-time. Kane pulls it back to Pavlovic, 30 yards out, dinks the ball in, Muller's in there, heads it down, Guerrero, Kane, and it squeezes its way past Provedel, and Harry Kane gives Bayern Munich the lead in the Allianz Arena and pulls them level on aggregates with Lazio. Bayern 1, Lazio 0 on the night, and we're all square in this Champions League last 16 tie.
Just 3 or 4 minutes ago, it had gone a bit quiet, it had gone a bit dull. Neuer up in the halfway line, got the crowd going, got his players going, and it lifted them. They moved the ball much quicker after that, and well done. Eventually the ball comes to Harry Kane there. It's a tiny half chance. It's a classic Harry Kane. Just get your head on it, redirect it, And maybe that's the difference between him and Ciro Immobile. And it may all come down to those two players on the night. What a game we've got now, all square.
And you have to feel for Ivan Provedel as well, because he did so well to readjust at close range. He got a hand to it, but the power on the header from Harry Kane, as his name is roared around the Allianz Arena, just took it past him, and we're all square. It is a big, big time in this game for Bayern Munich to score as well. 6 minutes to go until half-time, and it's half-time at Sunderland in the Championship. Chris Coles.
Sunderland 0, Leicester 1. Leicester's comfort not reflected in the narrow advantage. Vardy's head of the difference, but further excellent chances have been missed. Leicester looking well set to end a 3-game losing streak. They lead away at Sunderland by a 1-0.
Bayern coming forward with real purpose and intent now. Pavlovic sends it out to the right-hand side. Kimmich will find Müller in field to Sane into the penalty area, pulls it across, and it's stabbed just wide of the post by Musiala. Took the shot first time, 8 yards out, so easily. Could have been 2-0 Bayern on the night.
I mentioned the psychology. Whoever scores the first goal, Bayern has scored the first goal. Are we watching the same team now? The pace that they're playing at, the comfort, the confidence, the way they're zipping it about. And of course Lazio, they are definitely shaking. They have got to get to half-time without losing another goal. If they score another goal now, Bayern, it's a long old way back for Lazio.
So goal kick to Lazio, and for the first time in the game, Ivan Provedel is taking his time. So let's head for half-time at Leeds. Charlie Slater.
Leeds 1, Stoke 0. Dan James after 33 minutes, the only goal, but it could have been 3 or 4 if it weren't for some excellent goalkeeping from Stoke's Daniel Everson. Leeds 1, Stoke 0 at the break.
Half-time in League One at Barnsley. We'll go there shortly, but Lazio are coming forward, trying to get back on level terms on the night and retake the lead in the tie. Guendouzi's ball into the area is shocking. Behind, Bayern goal kick. Come in, Ellen Ellard.
Bolton had a chance to go second tonight. That chance is still there, but fourth place Barnsley well on top, and with the only goal of the first half, it fell to John McAtee, who delivered a low ball into the bottom right corner. Barnsley 1, Bolton 0.
Well, he said before this game, Thomas Tuchel, that pressure is needed to bring special performances. I'm not sure it's been a special performance from Bayern, but they've got a special player in Harry Kane.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been special yet, and that's twice Guendouzi's got in good positions there, and he's made the wrong choice from a kind of 20 yards out or so, and he just hasn't got the confidence to put his foot through it and strike, because they're not going to get that many opportunities, you imagine, tonight. You've got to take them when they come, and that's a couple now. Guendouzi there should have done better, and of course Immobile before him.
So Bayern in possession with Eric Dyer. Kane lurking on the shoulder of Mario Hila, and that Lazio defence. Harry Kane, who as bad as Bayern have been this season, has been brilliant. That is his 32nd goal in just 33 games in all competitions. He's well ahead in the Golden Boot race in the Bundesliga. He might get that individual trophy, he probably will, but it's the first major trophy team-wise of his club or international career that he's looking for. Can he keep Bayern's hopes of that alive this campaign? They're almost out of it in the Bundesliga. It would take something pretty remarkable to catch Bayer Leverkusen, but they've levelled the tie up in the Champions League in the last 16, and they're coming forward once more. Sane, brought down by Luis Alberto. Was he? Referee has a think about it and says, in fact, there was a handball there, and gives the free kick Lazio's way, and the Allianz Arena doesn't like that.
I'm okay with that. I mean, it's one of those ones where he puts his back into the player and waits for the hit. I actually think he gets a wee touch of the ball there. Sané's waiting for that. Look, every player's done it. You know that you're not going to get away from it. You shield the ball and just wait for the hit. Did that, and the referee said, no, you didn't try and get away, so I'm not giving you a free kick.
2 minutes plus added time to play in this first half. 1-0 Bayern leads on the night. Harry Kane with the header just after Ciro Immobile had missed from inside the 6-yard box with a header of his own. And as we said, it took a deflection on the way through off De Ligt, but Immobile will go in at half-time. Lazio's record goal scorer, once again their inspiration in the Champions League this season. And I'm sure that will be on his minds when Harry Kane pops up at the other end and makes no mistake with his own headed chance. Bayern in possession just outside their own penalty area. Play it all the way back to Manuel Neuer. Took a bit of a loose touch there and has run out of his penalty area, trying to retain possession under pressure from Immobile. Does so, but it's good pressure from the Lazio captain, and Neuer can only send the ball straight out of play for a Lazio throw.
Very interesting that that is the first time Immobile's considered trying to close down Neuer. Every time before this, he's just thought, no, I'll just tire myself out because Neuer's so good on the ball, I'm just wasting my time. But that time, he managed to get a throw in out of it.
Flags have stopped waving, apart from one lone one away to our right behind the goal. I think they want to see what's happening. They're absolutely huge. You've got no chance of seeing any more than 40% of the game if you're standing behind one of those flags. As Maricic has the throw for Lazio on the right-hand side. It's cleared away by Bayern, but only as far as Felipe Anderson, who whips the ball into the far post. Headed up but not quite away by Kimmich. Will be helped out of the area by De Ligt, and Pellegrini will intercept for Lazio and send it all the way back to Romagnoli on the edge of the centre circle. Lifts it high, lifts it forwards. Headed away by De Ligt. Pellegrini will pick it up on the left-hand side. Nice little interchange of passes. Alberto plays it out to Pellegrini once again. Ball into the area. Does it get a deflection? No. It will be a goal kick to Bayern Munich.
I can't believe it. You're absolutely right. You spotted that. We're a long, long way away from that. From the angle, but just the way the players reacted, that looked as if it should have been a corner kick. 10 seconds before we find out how many more minutes there are, and I think Lazio would love to have got that corner kick. They could have maybe seen this half out.
So 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half, and we're into it now. Bayern leading by a goal to nil. Harry Kane scoring on 38 minutes. It's 1-1 on aggregate in this Champions League last 16 tie here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We'll have full commentary of Manchester City's second leg against FC Copenhagen tomorrow from 8 o'clock. And then it's Liverpool's turn to be in Europa League last 16 action, getting their tie against Sparta Prague underway. Join Pat and the team for that on Thursday at 5:45, and Pat will be with us again for the big one at the weekend. Liverpool against Manchester City Sunday at 3:45. Here come Bayern down the right-hand side, ball into the area. Maricic will head away. Pavlovic will head it to Goretzka for Bayern, and here is Musiala. Thought about playing it to the left and does now. Guerrero pulls the ball across behind of Maricic. Bayern corner, and this will pretty much be the last action of the half. Can they find a way to double their lead on the night and take the lead in the tie?
Yeah, again getting in a good position there, but couldn't get the final ball in there. Just watching Harry Kane in the middle. I mean, apart from anything else, he has generally been marked by 3 players all the time. That is the way he's considered in world football. They are more scared of him than anybody else by miles, and even so, they've still not been able to stop him yet. Got in a good position there, but the ball didn't arrive.
Standing in between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box now as Guerrero swings it in. It's headed away by Immobile. Finding, oh, what a stunner! What a stunner on the far side for Matthias De Ligt! It's an absolute cracker! He's on the corner of the penalty area, and he has cracked that across the box, across the goal, and into the bottom corner. Absolutely unbelievable, and Bayern double their lead on the night and take the lead against Lazio in this tie on the stroke of half-time.
Right, well, first of all, I cannot believe it's not offside. Miller's touched it on the way through, right, and it's a great hit, but I'm not going to call it yet, because when I watch it closely, it's tight. It's tighter than I thought. It's a great hit. Miller gets in there. They've taken it. They've called it.
Good spot, Pat. It's Muller's touch that takes it away from Providel. Flicks it into that bottom corner. It's a super drive in from De Ligt, and that was the last touch pretty much of the half. Thomas Muller with the goal right on the stroke of half-time that doubles Bayern's advantage on the night and sees them take the lead in the tie. And indeed, we do have VAR, but they must have checked it. It must be all right, and Bayern have turned it around.
How quick did they take? Now, notice what happens in the Premier League and all our games. They take a lot of time, and they take a lot of time over it. That was very, very tight. I mean, my immediate thought was, that's offside, because I knew Miller had hit it. Anyway, go back to the initial corner kick that we were both convinced that Lazio should have got, and they break up the park, they get a corner kick themselves by a minute and have gone 2-1 up. In that moment, this entire tie has completely and utterly changed.
Remarkable. Bayern have found a way late on in this first half and the complexion of the tie has changed, and perhaps the complexion of their season has changed as well. There is still so much to dissect when it comes to that, but in terms of their European hopes, they have given them real hope of getting through to the quarterfinals. Half-time here in Munich, it's Bayern 2, Lazio 0, and they lead 2-1 on aggregate.
Vicki Sparks, Pat Nevin in Munich for us. Thank you very much for now. Statman Dave is also with us. Dave, it took Bayern a little while to settle into this game, maybe a bit of tension, but also they changed things around to get themselves the chances.
Yeah, they did. They looked a little bit more like their setup versus Leipzig with Leroy Sané and Musiala playing quite central, a lot of the width coming from fullback. At the start of the game, I think Lazio packed up that central area quite well, but I think with Bayern going a little bit more direct, especially with that first goal, starting to open up Lazio defensively. Just a statistic from that first half, Thomas Muller's now scored 50% of his goals in the Champions League in the knockout stages. That is a higher percentage of goals in the knockout stages than any other player. When we're talking about Harry Kane, we mentioned it before, his goals for Bayern have been massive. He's been directly involved in 40 goals in 33 games for Bayern Munich, which is the most of any player in Europe's top 5 leagues.
Extraordinary season for Harry Kane for Bayern Munich, and they now have the advantage in this last 16 tie in the Champions League. It's 2-1 on aggregate. They've turned it around from that 1-0 deficit from the first leg against Lazio. The second half of this second leg is coming up very shortly. Half-time whistle's just about to go elsewhere. In the meantime, we'll catch up on the BBC News headlines with Dan Maudsley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. The government's expected to announce a cut to national insurance in tomorrow's budget. It's been widely speculated that the Chancellor will reduce contributions by 2p in the pound. Jeremy Hunt's been under pressure to try to cut the tax burden. Here's Conservative MP Theresa Villiers.
I would like to see taxes come down for working people so that they can have more money in their pocket as help with continuing pressures on the cost of living. So if that's what does happen tomorrow, I'll really welcome it. I appreciate we've got limited headroom, but if there is scope to do that responsibly, then I'd be really supportive.
Birmingham City councillors have this evening approved a series of cuts to local services and a 21% rise in council tax over the next 2 years. Some councillors on the Labour-led authority described the financial measures as devastating. Millions of people in America are going to the polls to choose their candidates for the presidential election. Voting is taking place across 15 states and 1 territory on what's known as Super Tuesday. Both Joe Biden and Donald Trump are the front-runners for their respective parties. Jennifer Kearns is a Republican strategist.
Trump is going to have an extraordinarily good night tonight, and the person who should be concerned actually here is Joe Biden. Look, I'm looking forward to a Trump versus Biden contest so we can really match the two head-to-head.
The governing body Swim England has apologised after an independent review found that a toxic environment in clubs allowed dangerous training practices and bullying. The report, which was commissioned by Swim England, also said extreme competitiveness led to a culture of fear among athletes. Emma Caldwell's mother says the Justice Secretary will update the Scottish Parliament within days on calls for a public inquiry into her daughter's murder investigation. Margaret Caldwell met the First Minister to ask for a judge to look into police failings in the investigation into Ian Packer. He was jailed for life last week for murdering Emma in 2005. And thousands of Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp users reported being locked out of their accounts this afternoon. The site's parent company, Meta, has apologised to users and confirmed that the issues have now been resolved.
On BBC iPlayer.
Workers are voting in favour of strike action.
From Michael Sheen, James Graham and Adam Curtis.
The centre cannot hold. Mere anarchy loosed upon the world.
You're the Driscolls.
The ones who started the riot.
We're being targeted.
A family is on the run.
We just need to get far away from you.
Leave Wales.
When I left the house this morning, I didn't know I was going on an adventure, did I?
We're fugitives.
The Way.
Is this a dream?
You mean a nightmare?
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Kelly Cates.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
We've got second half commentary coming up from Munich, where Bayern are 2-0 up on the night, 2-0 up on the night against Lazio and 2-1 up on aggregate. We'll bring you second half commentary of that very shortly, and we'll bring you all the half-time results. But there's been a goal in League One. Let's head to Barnsley and find out which way. For Ellen Ellard.
Yeah, Barnsley have doubled their lead, Kelly. It came from a Nicky Cadden corner, which pinged back out to Donovan Pines, who scored from in consecutive games. He absolutely whacks it into the back of the net, and it's Barnsley 2, Bolton 0.
Ellen, thank you very much. Half-time in the other Champions League tie this evening. It's Real Sociedad against PSG. Conor McNamara.
Yes, Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 at half-time of this second leg, and Kylian Mbappe's brilliant goal hit so well it dislodged the net from the post. The restart had to be delayed while they fixed the netting back onto the frame. He danced back infield off the byline on the left. He drilled the ball into the far side. Excellent goal. Dave mentioned how between scoring and assists, Mbappe's now been involved in 40 goals for Paris Saint-Germain this season in all competitions. Just to expand on it more, his record in away games in the Champions League is just phenomenal, and between scoring and assists now, he's been involved in more Champions League away goals than any other player for the last 7 years. He might have had another were it not for a very good save from Ramiro. This is the first time Sociedad have been behind at home in the Champions League this season. They've not offered much. They now need at least 3 goals. They've not convinced they've got that in them. Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night, and the French club leading 3-0 on aggregate.
Conor, thank you very much for that. Well, we talked about Harry Kane, Dave, and the impact that he's having this season. Kylian Mbappe has been doing it for quite a while, not just in the league, but in the Champions League as well.
Yeah, he's now scored 45 goals in the Champions League, more than Didier Drogba and Mohamed Salah, one behind the great Eusebio in, obviously, the European Cup, and Filippo Inzaghi, which is just a great number of names to be around, and he's only 24 years old. To take that further, obviously, Conor mentioned his goal involvements in away games in the Champions League knockout phase. Only Ronaldo and Benzema have scored more. But I'd like to give a bit of a shout-out to Ousmane Dembele, playing a really interesting role defensively, sort of playing on the left wing and then moving into the number 10 area. If you go and check out the Mbappe goal, which I really would recommend doing, Dembele's the one that plays the pass through the defence to kickstart the move. So he's having a good game so far and playing a different tactical role.
Dave, for now, thank you very much. We promise we keep you across everything that's happening in the EFL this evening. And it is a busy night, particularly in the Championship. There is one 8 o'clock kickoff. The rest of them are 7:45. But it's half-time in the match between Ipswich and Bristol City. Paul Scott.
Yes, it is Ipswich 0, Bristol City 0. A half of few chances. The home side just edging it, perhaps. Kiefer Moore forcing the first save after 22 minutes. Goalkeeper Max O'Leary getting down low. Marcus Harness then hit the post a few minutes later. At the other end, Naki Wells' header was straight at goalkeeper Václav Hladky in what was the visitors' best chance of the half. The match needs a spark with the other teams around them leading at half-time. Ipswich, in their bid for automatic promotion to the Premier League, need to find something in the second 45. It's Ipswich 0, Bristol City 0.
Paul, thank you very much. Let's catch up with what's happening elsewhere. It is a 7:45 kickoff in all the other games in the EFL this evening. I think Millwall have just taken the lead against Blackburn at Ewood Park. I'll confirm that in a second. Coventry 4-0 up against Rotherham, and that's a hat-trick there for Ellis Sims in that game. Millwall's is a goal. It is 1-0 to Millwall at Blackburn. Hull City 1, Birmingham 0. Leeds 1, Stoke 0. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Plymouth 0. Sunderland 0, Leicester 1. In League One, it's Barnsley 2, Bolton 0, as we heard from Ellen. It's Cheltenham 0, Charlton 1, Peterborough 3, Northampton 1. In League 2, Wimbledon 0, Grimsby 0. Barrow have just gone 2-0 up against Gillingham. Bradford City 0, Doncaster 1, Mansfield 1, MK Dons 1, Morecambe 0, Crawley 0. In League 1 in Scotland, it's 0-0 between Cove Rangers and Falkirk. And in League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Spartans 2, Stranraer 4, Dumbarton 0. Back to the Allianz Arena very shortly. In the meantime, former Wimbledon champion Simona Halep will be allowed to return to professional tennis immediately after her doping ban was reduced by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Here's our tennis correspondent Russell Fuller to tell us how the decision was made.
This is a significant win for Simona Halep, Kelly, and it's been reduced from 4 years to 9 months because the Court of Arbitration for Sport have very much disagreed with the original decision of the independent tribunal last year they decided that Simona Halep was doping intentionally. But the Court of Arbitration have ruled that the positive test recorded at the US Open of 2022 was as a result of a contaminated supplement. And they say on the balance of probabilities, Halep's anti-doping rule violations were not intentional. Now, they do say that she did not exercise sufficient care when taking these new supplements, but that she bore no significant fault or negligence. And they've also dismissed a second charge relating to anomalies in her athlete biological passport. And that is why the ban is reduced from 4 years to 9 months, and she's free to play tennis once again.
And how's she responded? Has she given any timetable on her comeback?
She says simply, "I cannot wait to return to the tour." I imagine that she'll have kept herself in very good shape, but it will take a while before we see her in a tournament, inevitably, although I don't think it's going to be a long delay. She has issued this response to the verdict today. She says that her faith in the process was tested by what she described as scandalous accusations that were levelled against her. And she says also, by the seemingly unlimited resources that were aligned against me, I cannot wait to return to the tour. And the reason that the Court of Arbitration decided to get this verdict out more quickly than they otherwise might is that the period of suspension, the 9 months, ended in July of last year, and therefore they realised that by taking a long time to perhaps issue a full verdict at the same time as the headline finding would delay Halep's return to the sport. She's 32 years of age now. She has been out for 18 months. It's not easy, even as a two-time Grand Slam champion, to get back to the very best after that amount of time out of the sport.
And Russell, you're talking to us from California because you're out there for Indian Wells, which starts this week. So what have we got to look forward to?
This is the first of the combined WTA Tour events, the first big one of the year. There are 96 players in the men's draw and the women's draw, 6 British players in the main draw. Katie Boulter is headlining, if you like, having won the San Diego title at the weekend. She's the world number 27. She won that title just a week too late to be seeded here at Indian Wells and therefore earn a first-round bye. She'll have to play Camilla of Georgia of Italy in the first round on Wednesday. It's always tough after winning such a big title to come back and have to start another tournament within days, but that is nature of life on tour, especially at the top level. And we're also expecting to see Jack Draper and Andy Murray on Wednesday's opening day schedule. Andy Murray will be up against a qualifier, Draper against Christopher O'Connell of Australia. And if they win those matches, they'll be rewarded, if that's the right word, with very tough matches against top seeds, Andrei Rublev and Alex Zverev in the second round.
That was Russell Fuller bringing us up to date with everything ahead of Indian Wells. Let's check in on what's been happening in the EFL this evening. Leicester have had a bit of a bump in the road, but they might just be turning the corner. Chris Coles.
Looking good for victory here, Kelly, even though we've got plenty of time still to play. 12 minutes into the second half. Leading Sunderland by a goal to nil. Jamie Vardy's header still the difference, but Leicester continue to look good. They dominate possession. They look the more threatening. Sunderland, they get into good positions, but they're badly missing a presence up front. And with Leicester leading by a goal to nil, they're moving 5 points clear of second place Leeds as it stands. 57 minutes in, Sunderland 0, Leicester 1.
However, Leeds are keeping up the pressure. They're in action at Elland Road. Charlie Slater's watching.
They are with 57 minutes on the clock, and as Chris just said there, Leeds going back to second in the table as things stand, continuing to lead 1-0 against Stoke. Thanks to that Dan James goal 33 minutes into the game, a low, hard effort which was deflected into the back of the net. Elland Road a little bit flat at the moment as the expectant crowd who've not seen them lose here all season are waiting for the game to burst into life. A Stoke attack here. It's Millian Manhoff with the shot. It's a poor effort. Characterises Stoke's night, really. It's Leeds 1, Stoke 0.
Hull City also have promotion ambitions. They're at home to Birmingham. Tom Gale.
And so far they're strengthening those Kells. Almost an hour gone. Hull 1, Birmingham 0. Liam Rossini's side on course for a league double over the Blues thanks to Tufan's 25th minute goal, which was possibly handball. Birmingham have just completed a quadruple change, including bringing on top scorer Jay Stansfield. It is Hull 1, Birmingham 0.
Thank you very much, Tom. Time to head back to Munich for second half commentary of Bayern Munich against Lazio with Pat Nevin and Vicki Sparks.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, welcome back everyone to the Allianz Arena where we are just underway. Bayern Munich leading by 2-0 on the night. 2-1 on aggregate, those 2 late goals in the first half. The first from Harry Kane, the second in added time from Thomas Müller. And as Bayern had the ball on the left-hand side, we thought at the time it might be offside as Müller nodded in that firecracker of a shot from Matthijs de Ligt, and it certainly was a shot as well. But Felipe Anderson, we've seen on the replay at half-time, he just didn't get out in time, the former West Ham man.
Yeah, it's just his heel, a trailing heel, nothing more than that. But, that's the way strikers do it. And the similarities with Kane's goal and with Müller's goal is quite incredible. Just strikers getting themselves in between the sticks naturally. So they haven't necessarily linked up brilliantly, but they both scored in the end, right at the end of the half, and it has completely changed the way this game looks.
Yeah, 32nd goal of the season for Harry Kane. Just a third of the season for Thomas Müller, but both vitally important. No changes for either side at half-time. And with Bayern in possession, with Neuer playing from left to right, we will take you through the teams. Neuer in goal for Bayern. The back four of Kimmich, De Ligt, Dyer and Guerrero. Ahead of them it's Pavlovic and Goretzka, with Sane back from injury, Müller and Musiala supporting Harry Kane up top as the ball goes out of play for a Lazio throw. Lazio playing in all very dark blue. Bayern in their reds and white shirts. It's the white body of the shirt with the red sleeves, the red shorts and the red socks. Take through Lazio's team in a moment, but Bayern have won back possession and under pressure from the Lazio captain Ciro Immobile, they will send it back to Matthijs de Ligt. Immobile, who missed a header inside the 6-yard box at the far post. Yes, it got a deflection, the cross on the way through, but still a huge chance at 0-0 on the night. It would have put Lazio 2 goals to the good in the tie. Instead, it's Bayern who have scored twice here in Munich and lead 2-1 as Neuer clears up towards the halfway line. Pat Nevin.
They didn't get their heads round it. It's 2-1, Lazio. The Champions League's waiting there. You only need a goal. That's all you need, just a goal. There will be chances, you suspect, if they play the way they did in the first half. And remember, there are 1 or 2 decent options that they've got on the bench, so no need to panic yet. However, a third goal for Bayern Munich, and I can see no way back for Lazio.
Ball is all the way back with Manuel Neuer. Eric Dyer will send it out to this right-hand side. Yes, the likes of Pedro, the former Chelsea player, Tati Castellanos as well for Lazio, as they try and work the ball down the left-hand side. Zakani's gone down here, and after a little bit of a think, our referee Slavko Vincic has given the free kick to Lazio. So midway through the Bayern half on this wide left-hand side, and that gives us a chance to take you through their team. So Ivan Provedel in goal. The back four of Marasic, Hila, Romagnoli and Pellegrini. Ahead of them it's Guendouzi, Vecino and Alberto, with Anderson and Zaccagni supporting Ciro Immobile, their captain, their record goal scorer up front. Immobile, who scored the winner in the first leg from the penalty spot and has missed that big chance in this game. Kane and Müller on the score sheets for Bayern Munich. Peterborough have got another goal against Northampton in League One. That's 4-1 now to Peterborough as Lazio swing the free kick into the edge of the area. It's headed away by Goretzka for Bayern Munich. Sheffield Wednesday scored against Plymouth in the Championship. That's 1-0. As Pellegrini will send it all the way back to Provedel, all in bright yellow, closed down by Müller, and the closing down did its job because he's played it straight to Musiala, but it was pretty much just inside the Lazio half, Musiala. So Bayern played along the halfway line. Here is De Ligt under pressure, will go all the way back to Manuel Neuer as Blackburn equalise against Millwall in the Championship. That's 1-1 at Ewood Park, and De Ligt brings it forward once more. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, just a little half chance there. Very noticeable that Müller is really chasing everything now. Doesn't seem to have lost a lot of pace, or certainly not any willingness to run and chase things down just now, and it's made a little difference to his team.
Here comes Goretzka, nice little back heel finds him, and now Harry Kane in the centre circle, saw the space on the right hand side for Kimmich, and here goes Kimmich down to the byline, swings the ball into the penalty area, headed up but not quite away yet by Lazio, held back on by Bayern. Lazio making a mess of clearing this. Eventually they will get it away to midway through their own half, but they're under real pressure here at the start of this second half as Bayern look to go 3-0 up on the night. Ball into the area from Bayern, kind of kneed down by Luis Alberto of Lazio to Vecino, and the ball will be played out to this left-hand side. Goal at Barnsley in League One, Ellen Ellard.
Barnsley 2, Bolton 1. An easy finish in the end for Victor Adebayo, tapping in on a ball played across the face of goal for his 10th of the season. Bolton have one back.
Lazio in possession just outside their own penalty area. 2-0 to Bayern on the night, 2-1 they lead on aggregate in this Champions League last 16 second leg as the ball goes out of play for a throw over on that far side. Initially was given by the assistant to Bayern, but it is Lazio's throw. He corrects it with the flag, and the throw will go to the visitors midway through their own half.
Yeah, you're doing well to commentate here, because we've got a stream of people who are walking in front of us, in front of the goal that Bayern are attacking just now, and all coming back, getting beers at half-time, apparently quite popular around this part of the world. However, I think a lot of them missed the second goal, doesn't they?
Yeah,
leaving early.
Yeah, a lot of them had gone for drinks. Yeah, we could do with Lazio attacking for just a little bit. Completely neutral here. We just want a good game on 5 Live. But at the moment, Bayern playing left to right. Half of the right-hand half of the pitch is obscured by, as Pat says, this steady stream of fans who've all gone off to get a beer at half-time. So, let's see what Lazio can do. They're in possession, still inside their own half, away to the right with Pellegrini. Played forward now to Zaccagni, who gets over the halfway line. Plays it forward straight into Pavlovic. It will be intercepted by Vecino, though, for Lazio. Plays it out to the right-hand side, and Maricic, as Anderson plays it forward. Good run by Maricic. Early ball into the area. Immobile very well close down there by De Ligt. Although Immobile has stayed down. De Ligt furious, telling him to get back up. Referee happy. We do have VAR in the Champions League. They will have a look. Bayern have now slowed the play. They've kicked the ball out of play because Immobile is still down. Let's see, Pat Nevin.
No, I don't think that's a foul. I think he's injured, but I think he's kicked the left. His leg's just strong there, puts his body in the way. I don't think the referee's going to change his mind up, but we'll see. Bringing on the physios. There's no big complaints from any of the Lazio players. It's one of those ones, he's going to have a little go at it, but he might have a little bit of a dead leg. Just trying to turn it in the half volley round the corner there. And just look at the reaction between the two players. There's no bad feeling between them. They know they're just coming together. It can happen in football, even in the box. There's a close-up of Thomas Tuchel there. The first one we've seen of him. He's not been very animated, has he, during this game? Considering his entire future is decided. However, the future between now and the end of the season. But he just looks either unconcerned or calm, or in actual fact hiding it. And I think it's the latter.
Bolton have got a goal back against Barnsley. We have given you that with Ellen Eller, but let's head to Sunderland. Chris Cox.
Where it remains, Sunderland 0, Leicester 1, but Sunderland have just hit the crossbar. Trey Hume with a wonderful effort from all of 35 yards, left foot, Matt Hermansen beaten, it cannoned off the crossbar and to safety. Warning sign for Leicester. Sunderland 0, Leicester 1, 67 minutes.
To Leeds, Charlie Slater.
66 on the clock, Leeds still winning by 1-0, but it's Stoke that have been on top for the first 20 minutes or so of this second half. Life in them yet, but they still trail by 1-0.
And here in the Allianz Arena, live in Munich on 5 Live, it's Bayern 2, Lazio 0. Bayern lead 2-1 on aggregate, and they're coming forward again. Here is Müller, plays the ball into the area. Kame is in there, it's just over his head, and Guerrero will keep it in on the byline, pulls it back to Musiala, edge of the penalty area. Musiala looking to work room for the shots, and it flies just wide of the post. He got a touch on the way through. It will be a Bayern corner.
What about Harry Kane's movement there? The ball comes into the box. He is second favourite by so far when the ball's in flight, and somehow he just ghosts past players, gets us into a good position. Very unlucky not to get a header on it and score. So Harry Kane, I think he fancies another one tonight.
And talking of luck, I'm not sure that did get a touch off Guendouzi. If it did, it was a faint one. So, no real protest from Lazio, but let's see if anything comes of this corner for Bayern.
If we can see it.
If we can see it, as the fans come back with their beers. It's driven in to the far post and headed away by Guendouzi. And he was challenged a little bit too strongly there. Did well, got his head to it. The former Arsenal man sent the ball out of play, but the whistle goes, and it is a free kick to Lazio inside their own penalty area.
You're beginning to look already. We're only nearly 10 minutes into the second half, and you're looking down at Sarri and thinking, actually, it's not quite working yet. There's something you probably need to do at some point here, because if you leave it too long and lose another goal, it's going to be too late to make the changes. We'll see.
Peterborough now 5-1 up against Northampton in League One, and Morecambe have taken the lead at home to Crawley in League Two. Here come Lazio with Zaccagni, cleared away on the edge of the box up towards Thomas Müller, but Lazio will get there first. Let's head back to Real Sociedad. Conor McNamara.
Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night. The French team leading 3-0 on aggregate. Paris Saint-Germain comfortably going through as things stand. No evidence of a Sociedad revival. Mbappe's goal was superb in the first half. It is Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1.
Ball is all the way back with Manuel Neuer as that Lazio attack breaks down. Lazio, who since beating Bayern in the first leg have lost 3 of their last 4 games. To be fair, it's been a tough run for them. All sides who, like them, are pushing for the European places in Serie A, but they're up against it, sitting in 9th to qualify for Europe through the league for next season. Lazio are into the semi-finals of the Coppa Italia as Bayern Munich come forwards. Kimmich with the ball down by the byline, dinks the ball right across the 6-yard box. Lazio gets something on it, clear it out of the penalty area. Pavlovic loses out. Was he fouled there? Referee says no, and Lazio might be able to counter with Zaccagni. Bayern not happy with that challenge on Pavlovic as Luis Alberto picks it up on the left-hand side. The memento of the Lazio attack just stalling a little, and Alberto plays it back to Pellegrini, and Pavlovic is back up to his feet, the teenager, and moves back into that position in central midfield for Bayern, just holding the small of his back there with his left hand. But Lazio work it out now to the right-hand side. Felipe Anderson plays it back to Romagnoli. He has it now on halfway and forwards once more. He goes to Luis Alberto. Vecino, little slip from Immobile, but Vecino retrieves the pass, and nice interchange once more from Lazio. Quick, fast passes as Pellegrini plays it into Sane, out for a Lazio throw. Bayern 2, Lazio 0 on the night. 2-1 Bayern lead on aggregate.
Yeah, they need to get a little bit more foothold in the game here. Lazio, just last minute or two they've got a bit. It's not a case of Bayern camping the opposite half. I think there's a number of Bayern players that love the idea of playing in the break, in particular Sane, who's fallen out of the game a little bit in the second half, but they've got so many players. Musiala with his pace, he can get in there. I have to say, of all the players in there, Pavlovic has actually slowly but surely grown, and he's a lovely, if unusual, type of player in that midfield.
Ball is headed away by Lazio on the halfway line. Kimmich will send it forward for Bayern. Flicked on inadvertently by Pellegrini back into his own half for Lazio, putting his defence under a little bit of pressure. Romagnoli deals with it. The ball goes out of play for a Bayern throw. Goal in the Championship, Ipswich against Bristol City. Paul Scott.
9 minutes played in the second half. It is Ipswich 0, Bristol City 1. The visitors taking the lead. Anis Mehmeti with a mazy run into the box. His shot took a deflection past Václav Hladký, and it's Bristol City who lead. Ipswich 0, Bristol City 1.
Well, the promotion chase in the Championship takes another twist as Harry Kane comes forward for Bayern Munich. Kane plays it to the left-hand side. Here's Guerrero, drives the ball just wide of that post, and it will be a goal kick to Lazio. Cheltenham have equalised at home to Charlton. That's 1-1 in League One.
And we're going to see a whole bunch of changes now. Have to get ready for this one. At least 3 that are going to come on now for Lazio. I was waiting for that to happen, but typically they're going to wait until the 60 minutes comes up, as many coaches do. They seem to be unable to move before that board gets past the hour mark.
Yeah, so Gustav Isaksson, who's one of their options up front, is preparing to come on. Danilo Cataldi as well, and Tate Castellanos, who was the one change with Immobile replacing him in this run-up. They've got to leave Immobile on, surely. I mean, he's their talisman, he's their record goal scorer, he's been their spark in the Champions League this season. They've got to go for it. Lazio, Maurizio Sarri knows that. Still just a goal in the tie. They trail 2-0 on the night. They're only 2-1 down, Lazio on aggregate. Bayern Munich, who have such pedigree in this competition, are on top at the moment. Here is Kimmich. Plays it forward to Leroy Sane. Back to Kimmich once more as the red and white flags way behind the goal away to our right that Bayern are currently attacking, and that has been the pattern of this second half as they come forward once more. Sane loses out on the edge of the penalty area, and here goes Felipe Anderson. Oh, lovely footwork, tried the nutmeg, was blocked off by De Ligt there, and it will be a free kick to Lazio midway through their own half. So let's head to Real Sociedad. Conor McNamara.
Second goal of the night, second goal for Paris Saint-Germain, and it is a second goal for Kylian Mbappe. He's first took the net off the goalpost. This is a real trademark Mbappe goal. Brilliant ball over the top. He ran from the halfway line into the penalty area, so confident as he swept it beyond the goalkeeper Ramiro. It is 2-0 on the night. It is 4-0 on aggregate. Paris Saint-Germain are going through in the Champions League tonight.
And to Hull in the Championship, Tom Gale.
Hull 1, Birmingham 0. Vicki, just over a quarter of an hour of normal time remaining. The visitors have rarely threatened, but sub George Hallwood played through, appeared to be pulled down, but the referee said no foul. Hull 1, Birmingham 0.
Thanks very much, Tom, and that's been very helpful because Lazio have made those 3 substitutions and it's given us a chance to tell you about them. So, Vecino, Zaccagni and Immobile, their captain, their record goal scorer, have gone off. Isaksen, Castellanos and Cataldi have come on. So, interesting changes from Maurizio Sarri, but they've got to go for it. They absolutely have to go for it. Pat Nevin?
Yeah, and they weren't playing badly there. They got back into the game. They were putting Bayern back a little bit, but they weren't creating enough chances. So fresh legs might make a little bit of a difference. But at the moment, a couple, 2 or 3 tackles in a row, right down in front of there by De Ligt. He fancies it today. He's gone in and chased and tackled and put his physical presence around a great deal today. I don't think Immobile enjoyed playing against him. Let's find if Castellanos enjoys it a little bit more.
So here are Lazio in possession. Romagnoli will send it all the way back to Ivan Provedel, and he plays it out to the right hand side, but Guendouzi has been dispossessed, and Lazio they will win it back and send it all the way back to Provedel. In fields to Romagnoli, just on the edge of his penalty area. Lazio, who remember have only reached the knockout stages in the Champions League or its predecessor, the European Cup, on 3 occasions, including this one. They've only reached the quarterfinals once, and they need a goal here to keep alive their hopes of doing so again, as Neuer tidies up at the back for Bayern. They play it out to the left hand side, and Bayern should and do win the free kick on the edge of their penalty area. And it is about how these changes will disrupt Bayern's flow and what they're allowed to Lazio.
Yeah, well, obviously you look at Isaksen going to come on. I think Zaccagni had done okay, but he wasn't getting past his man anymore. Immobile had ran, but he'd run out of gas with Castellanos. However, Vecino coming off in that very deep role, it's all about what will Cataldi do there. Will he sit back in that 5 position, or will he push a little bit forward? And as I look at it just now, it looks a little bit more like those 2 centre midfield players as Cataldi, or maybe actually he's going for a 4-1-4-1. Actually, that is what he's done.
Bayern in possession midway through their own half. Big chance at Ipswich. Paul Scott.
Yes, an hour on the clock. It is still Ipswich 0, Bristol City 1, but the visitors have the bit between their teeth. Naki Wells almost making it 2. Some fancy footwork, cutting in from the right hand side. His left-footed shot across the face of goal, smacked off the upright. So close for Bristol City. It is Ipswich 0, Bristol City 1.
Thanks very much, Paul. As Bayern Munich win the ball on the halfway line. Lazio have a player down, but Bayern continue playing. Castellanos limping back to his feet, but referee happy for play to continue. Here is Kimmich. Bayern leading by 2-0 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate. I mean, it's such a cliche, but next goal is absolutely huge. As Bayern have it down the left-hand side. They have been the side on top in this second half. So they play it back to Eric Dyer, just outside the centre circle, and now De Ligt will pick it up and play it out to the right hand side. Müller is dispossessed. Luis Alberto will try and help it on to Castellanos, but De Ligt is there once more, and Neuer has it for the 6th time. Champions League / European Cup winners, looking to reach the quarterfinals for the 12th time in the last 15 campaigns. Their pedigree is among the very best Bayern Munich's. They've had a incredibly disappointing season. It's going to see Thomas Tuchel leave in the summer, but can he finish with a flourish?
I'm surprised since those changes have been made. They've been really passive, Lazio. You expect, okay, changes made, 3 players on, let's lift it, let's chase it, let's get close. It's not really happened. They've almost it's made it a lot easier in the first few minutes for Bayern.
Approaching the midway point of the second half, as Bayern play it forward once more. Here is Leroy Sané, receives the ball from Thomas Müller. Sané into the area, goes for the shot, beaten away by Provedel, and on the follow-up is Harry Kane to slot home his second of the game. Bayern's third, and put them on the brink of the quarter-finals and keep alive his hopes and their hopes of winning a trophy this season. It's Bayern 3, Lazio 0. 3-1 they lead on aggregates.
Yeah, and simple terms, if you've got a world-class goal scorer in your team, you've always got a chance. He just always turns up in the right place. He makes it look very easy. The ball is actually going slightly behind him, but he staggers his run slightly. Keeper makes a decent save, but Harry is always moving. He's always alert, and it's a simple tap-in for him in the end. You understand why they love him here, and in a moment or two I suspect we're going to hear that. Yes, we did.
33 goals in 33 games now in all competitions for Harry Kane. He has been as brilliant as Bayern have been bad this season, but he came here to win trophies, and he's keeping alive those hopes. Yes, they have got still a chance in the Bundesliga, but it would take a miracle, it would take a collapse from Bayer Leverkusen. This is their best hope, and a difficult hope it is, but their best hope of pursuing a trophy this season. And they have taken a big step with that goal towards the quarter-finals. Lazio with the throw midway through the Bayern half. Goal at Ipswich, Paul Scott.
62 minutes on the clock. Ipswich 1, Bristol City 1. Game on. Substitute Wes Burns with an immediate impact against his former club, bursting down the right flank. His pullback found Leif Davis, who found the bottom corner. Ipswich 1, Bristol City 1.
Actually, a quick question. Have you actually seen Thomas Tuchel out of his technical area yet? I'm not sure I actually have.
Not in this second half, no. I think he wandered out a couple of times in the first half, but
it was a kind of wander. It wasn't a kind of no big reaction. It's a kind of really odd reaction he's had to this. Anyway, he'll be happy inside. Team of 3-1, but those changes we expected to work positively for Lazio, they just fell apart. They just stopped. No one was chasing. They just lacked legs as soon as they made the changes.
They're coming down the left-hand side. Bayern playing it forward to Harry Kane. He's on a hat-trick, but he won't keep that in, and it bounces off the corner flag and goes out for a throw to Lazio deep in their own territory. Goal at Hull, Tom Gale.
Equaliser for the visitors, Vicki. Hull 1, Birmingham 1. Crosses swung in, and Lukas Juktovic on as a sub with a powerful header. This could be a precious point in the battle to avoid relegation. It's Hull 1, Birmingham 1.
And a disallowed goal at Real Sociedad, Conor McNamara.
Yes, still Real Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2. Ander Baranate was a doubt for this game. They were hoping to get him back, having returned from injury. He was on the bench. He's been brought on in the second half, with Sociedad needing to score 4 now. He does get the ball into the back of the net. However, after a VAR review, they agree with Michael Oliver's on-field decision. It is offside, goal disallowed. Still Sociedad 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2 on the night.
Here come Bayern once again. They lead 3-0 here at the Allianz Arena in Munich. They're 3-1 up on aggregate, and they calmly play the ball back to halfway. We've just seen a shot of Ciro Immobile, the Lazio captain, who's been substituted on the bench, looking very upset indeed. His knee is heavily strapped. He has struggled a little bit with injury recently. And we said, didn't we, Pat, when he came off, he's worked so hard. He missed that big chance at 0-0 on the night, which would have given Lazio a 2-0 aggregate lead, as Leroy Sané is cheered for getting the ball away from Felipe Anderson. But it's clear that he just couldn't continue, and it is one of those decisions you've got to make as a manager, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the other thing that, look, he's a striker. He'll completely know. Harry Kane got himself in a position for a header, put it in. And Müller got himself in a position for a header, put it in, and he got himself in position for a header, and he couldn't. And there's been more to the game than that, but that's been a massive part of the game. As you mentioned before, had he scored his goal, it would have been 2-0 up, and that would have been I'm not saying it was beyond Bayern, but it would have been incredibly hard.
Bayern in possession midway through their own half, and it would have changed the atmosphere in this stadium, wouldn't it? I mean, we spoke about it in the first half when Manuel Neuer came into the centre circle and got the crowd going. It got Bayern going as well. They responded to the crowd, they responded to him, and it was, you know, within the next 10 minutes that they took the lead, and all of that changes if Lazio were 1-0 up on the night, 2-0 up on
I think there's a very good argument that was the most important moment of this game so far, and it was a goalkeeper who was 60 yards away from the play that made it, because he made the reaction happen in this massive arena.
Pat Nevin with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live as Bayern have the ball just inside the Lazio half. Pat will be with us on Thursday, 5:45, as Liverpool begin their Europa League last 16 tie against Sparta Prague, as Bayern almost give the ball away at the back. In the end, they do keep hold of it, and now they might be able to charge over the halfway line. And Müller is in here, Müller into the area, great save by Provedel. Beaten away, might have taken a nick off the post there as well, but that was a chance for Bayern to get their fourth and really put this tie beyond Lazio. 4-1 on aggregate it would have been. They still come outside the penalty area. Here is Sane, urged to shoot, does shoot, oh, it's close, it's just wide of that far post with Provedel on the stretch. Bayern are in the mood for more.
Yeah, and it's horrible if you're a Lazio player just now, because they have to chase forward. They're exhausted. There's a number of players out there that are just treading water at the moment, and every time they break, now suddenly the likes of Müller, Pavlovic, they all look so sharp.
Very, very tight offside against Müller as we just see a replay of this chance. As it's curled in. It's a brilliant save by Provedel, who pushes it onto the post. So it is both goalkeeper and post. Really good stop from Provedel. But Lazio very much up against it in this tie. Can they get a goal back? Felipe Anderson, ball into the area, cleared away ineffectively. Luis Alberto, and somehow Bayern get the deflection on it, and it goes behind for a Lazio corner. What a chance for Luis Alberto, and how much space did the former Liverpool player suddenly have inside the penalty area?
He did everything right though, and it's just that deflection again. The foot came up, deflected it at an odd angle, took it past there, but they're throwing everything at it now. Keeler run 50-60 yards with the ball at his feet from centre back.
Corner which Luis Alberto will take. It's headed away at that near post by Thomas Müller. Back out to Luis Alberto, who gets the second cross in, headed away once again, this time by Goretzka, and will be sent back by Danilo Cataldi all the way to Ivan Provedel, who plays the ball out to this left-hand side. Had that ball gone in from Luis Alberto, it would have brought the tie back to within a goal. It's not yet all over for Lazio. 3-0, Bayern leads on the night, 3-1 on aggregate to the sixth-time European champions as Lazio work it out to the right-hand side. Guendouzi, Neuer comes and claims that cross on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Should have had a few minutes now, maybe 4 or 5 minutes now, where Lazio have played the way I expected them to play as soon as they made the changes. Now, when you make changes, sometimes the shape's changed. It went to 4-1, 4-1, and there's a slight bit of confusion. But it was a lack of energy there, and it led to the other goal. But now they've lifted it a little bit. However, they are going to have to watch out for the Bayern breaks, which are dangerous.
Bayern in possession midway through their own half. Red card at Leeds, Charlie Slater.
Down to 10 men, 86 minutes on the clock. Leeds leading against Stoke by 1-0. The substitute, Ben Pearson, sent off for a second yellow. Can't complain about either of them. 1-0 Leeds.
Goals going in the Football League elsewhere. Bradford have found a late equaliser at home to Doncaster in League 2. Charlton have found what could be a late winner at Cheltenham in League 1, 2-1. They lead, and here at the Allianz Arena in Munich, it is Bayern who lead by 3-0 against Lazio, 3-1 on aggregate as Eric Dyer sends the ball out to the left-hand side, and Lazio preparing to make another change. The former Chelsea man Pedro, the twilight years of his career, is preparing to come on, but it's Bayern who are coming forward once again, and here is Harry Kane on the hat-trick, on the angle, fires it high into the stand behind that goal as the flags wave, and here comes that change for Lazio. Felipe Anderson, the former West Ham man, coming off, and Pedro is coming on.
Do you want to list the trophies that man Pedro's won in his career? Sorry, we don't actually have enough time. It's extraordinary what he has done in his career. Obviously the teams he played for, the Barca, etc. But as you say, twilight of his career. Just a moment ago there, Harry has a go. terrible position to have a shot. If it was at a more important moment, you'd say, what are you doing, Harry? But let's be fair, he wants a hat-trick, doesn't he? Or should I say, he wants another hat-trick.
I know, it would be his fourth for Bayern Munich this season. He has been the prolific striker that we know he can be, and he's breaking all sorts of records as well. As Lazio come down the right-hand side, Isaksen was caught there, was he? Yes, he was. Just on the edge of the penalty area, a few yards out, definite free kick rather than anything near a penalty. But this is a good position for Lazio, and these are the sort of opportunities, Pat Nevin, with 15 minutes plus added time to play, they have to take if they want to get back into this game.
It's one of those ones where the angle is that you want a left foot, or maybe Isaksen, to go and whip that ball on an angle towards the back post. It's so far Bayern, when they put the balls in there and a right-footed normal cross, they've dealt with it very, very easily, but they need to, as you say, do something about it. I think an in-swing will be the better shout here.
Changes afoot for Bayern as well. Alphonso Davies and Mathys Tel are preparing to come on, but first the players on the pitch for Bayern have to defend this free kick. Can Lazio get themselves back into this last 16 tie? Set piece, played in, headed away by Bayern as two players go down, and Harry Kane's won the free kick. Went down just by the penalty spot inside his own penalty area, and the whistle goes from Slavko Vincic.
But they played that ball again, the curled outside ball, which is much, much easier. And that precise position it was there is almost the goalkeeper's nightmare position. They had a left-footed player, but because he wasn't the senior player, he didn't get to take it, and I think that was a poor mistake.
So Bayern in possession, play the ball out to the left-hand side, outside their own penalty area. And now Manuel Neuer has it, sends it out to this right-hand side. And Lazio won't keep that in. Bayern will have a throw. So latest scores in the Championship. 1-1 between Blackburn and Millwall. Coventry 4, Rotherham 0. 1-1 between Hull and Birmingham. Leeds leading by a goal to nil against Stoke. Sheffield Wednesday leading by the same scoreline against Plymouth. Sunderland losing 1-0 at home to leaders Leicester, and it's 1-1 between promoting chasing Ipswich and Bristol. So here come the changes for Bayern Munich. Rafael Guerreiro, the first to be replaced by Alphonso Davies, the Canadian international. And Mathys Tel will come on for the scorer of the second goal for Bayern that put them ahead in the tie. Harry Kane's got two as well. They lead 3-1 against Lazio on aggregate. And they are closing in on the Champions League quarter-finals once again, unless Lazio and Castellanos, in this instance, can do anything about it. Castellanos has won a free kick midway through the Bayern Munich half. But if you're Maurizio Sarri, who has been up and down, he's coming out now to the edge of his technical area. You know you are running out of time. Big chance at Ipswich in the Championship. Paul Scott.
15 to play. It's still Ipswich 1, Bristol City 1. The visitors knocking at the door. Anis Mehmeti, who scored the opener for Bristol City, coming close with a long-range effort. Well saved by Václav Hladký, sticking out a big arm. It's Ipswich 1, Bristol City 1.
It's Charlton 1, Charlton 3. Another goal for Charlton in League One as Lazio play the ball into the area. It's headed behind by Bayern. It will be a Lazio corner. They are starting to find a bit of a foothold in this game. Is it too little too late?
Well, you know, it's just that one goal. And if you get that one goal, is there any nervousness in the stadium? Well, there will be, because we noticed that there was nervousness at the start of the game. But they need to take one of these chances, or half chances.
Corner is swung in. It's headed away by Goretzka powerfully, but Bayern very deep. Sane comes out to close down as Luis Alberto sends it out to the left-hand side, and Luca Pellegrini, his ball is poor, it's straight behind, and time ticks away. And that is appreciated by the fans inside the Allianz Arena as Lazio make one last change. Luis Alberto comes off, and the Japan international Daichi Kamada replaces him. Luis Alberto gets a hug from Maurizio Sarri. Sarri, who's led Lazio to 5th and 2nd place finishes in Serie A in his 2 seasons with them, but reaching the quarterfinals of the Champions League for only a second time in the club's history. Looks as though it's going to be a bridge too far for the former Chelsea manager as Harry Kane goes down. on the halfway line, and that will be a yellow card into the bargain as well for Alessio Romagnoli.
Well, I can't argue with that. Surely that was very cynical indeed. I mean, Harry's giving him a hard time in front of the ball, and he's put his shoulder up to us. Harry Kane will, euphemistically, he will survive. That's what I will say. It's not really that bad. He's got it in the back of his kind of shoulder blades. It's nothing particularly bad, but there was no way that the defender could get through there, so the referee's probably right to get the yellow card out.
Well, he's helped up by Tati Castellanos, Harry Kane, and he's back up to his feet on a hat-trick, having scored twice here in Munich this evening, as Kimmich loses out and Pellegrini will try and clear, and does well, wins the throw off Harry Kane. And Lazio with the ball deep in their own territory, and Thomas Tuchel, I presume he's still here. I presume he hasn't gone home. He probably is still sitting in the dugout, but it is such a strange situation, isn't it? I mean, when they announced his departure, that he would be leaving in the summer, he said, there was a very nice statement and, very carefully worded, of course, as it would be. But, then obviously got asked about it in his next press conference, this announcement that he would be leaving the club in the summer, and said he didn't think he was the only problem twice in that press conference, but he'd accept his responsibility. Doesn't matter if I understand the decision of the club or whether I'm happy with it. It's just a very bizarre scenario. Pat's thoughts on that in a moment. There's been a goal at Ipswich in the Championship. Paul Scott.
Ipswich 1, Bristol City 2, 13 minutes to play. It could be a big goal in the chase for automatic promotion to the Premier League. Tommy Conway, the substitute for Bristol City, their leading scorer this season, with his first touch, a looping header after Sykes' cross. It looped over Hladky and into the back of the net. It is Ipswich 1, Bristol City 2.
Bayern under a bit of pressure outside their own penalty area, but they play around that really nicely and work it out to the left-hand side. Here is Harry Kane on a hat-trick, unselfish, places to the right-hand side. Kimmich didn't pull across, it was poor, looking for Sane. Should be cleared away by Lazio as the flags wave once more behind the goal away to our right. And the Bayern fans behind that goal raise their red and white scarves and hold them aloft. Their side are leading by 3-0 as the scarves now wave in unison. 3-1 up against Lazio on aggregate. They're on the brink of the quarter-finals and perhaps salvaging something from this very disappointing season.
Yeah, just looking at got close up with Thomas Tuchel there. There was a little bit of an annoyance on the bench there because one of his players let him down again. It really just feels like the bottom lip's out, and you shouldn't be. You have to go on with it. You're in the job, and if you're going to stay in the job, keep on doing the right things, keep on being positive, because your players will react to it. At the moment, actually, they're reacting okay, but it's a very odd situation.
Full time at Sunderland, Chris Coles.
And Leicester have beaten Sunderland 1-0 to end a 3-game losing streak. Jamie Vardy's first half header enough, and it was just enough. Sunderland were excellent in the second half. Trey Hume hit the bar. Adil Aouchiche had an effort brilliantly saved. They were so close to an equaliser, but Leicester hold on for a much-needed win and now have a 5-point cushion over Leeds in second. Sunderland 0, Leicester 1.
And full time at Hull, Tom Gale.
Hull 1, Birmingham 1, a precious blue point secured late on through the head of Juktovic, cancelling out Tufan's controversial first half goal. Birmingham now a point clear of the drop. Hull squandered chances and could fall out of the top 6 if Norwich win tomorrow. Full time, Hull 1, Birmingham 1.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Coventry have got a 5th on a miserable night for Rotherham, and it's finished 1-1 between Blackburn and Millwall.
Just one thing worth mentioning here just now. We've talked a lot about Harry Kane tonight and various different players. Dyer's just kind of cruised to this, hasn't he? He's not really done anything. He's just put himself in the right position, just done the sensible thing. The only thing I can remember him looking mildly surprised was when the little flicked head ball that went on to Immobile. At that moment in time he was slightly caught out of position, but not through his own fault. Apart from that, he's absolutely cruised.
Bayern in possession, but goal at Ipswich, Paul Scott.
Portman Road is rocking once again because Ipswich have levelled. Leif Davis with the free kick. It found the head of their leading scorer, Connor Chaplin, who headed into the back of the net. It is Ipswich 2, Bristol City 2.
And a reminder, that was an 8 o'clock kickoff, so there are still 10 minutes plus added time to play. And again, this promotion race in the Championship takes another twist. Ball goes out of play. Throw to Lazio here in Munich. There are a little over 5 minutes plus added time to play. And Maurizio Sarri just out of his technical area now. He's standing in between the white line of his technical area and the pitch itself, and now he turns away. His side have done everything they can against the might of the 6-time European champions, but they need 2 goals and they need them quickly. Down the right hand side they go. It'll be a Lazio throw. Penalty at Barnsley. Ellen Ellard.
It was Cam Jerome who was brought down in the box. Josh Sheehan stood up for Bolton with the opportunity to equalise. Chet saved initially, but Randall Williams managed to find the back of the net on the second attempt. It's all level here.
Thanks very much, Ellen. As Lazio take the throw towards Castellanos, but it's cleared away by Bayern. All Thomas Tuchel's side need to do is see it out now. Cleared away for another throw to Lazio. But again, I'm struggling to think of the number of significant saves that Neuer has made in this game.
No, and there really hasn't been enough creativity. I mean, they're hard work enough, put themselves in the right positions, organised at the back, all that sort of stuff. But someone who's really going to create that many chances, there really hasn't been anything special there that's looked to frighten Bayern from start to finish.
Full time at Leeds, Charlie Slater.
Leeds 1, Stoke 0. Stoke nearly level with the last kick of the game, but that's 10 wins from their last 11 for Leeds. Dan James with the game's only goal. Stoke down to 10 late on. Ben Pearson was sent off. Leeds up to second as it stands. Leeds 1, Stoke 0.
Here come Lazio with Pedro down the left hand side. Plays it back to Romagnoli. And now forwards to Kamada. But Bayern have got the red and white shirts back. They're creating that wall in front of their own penalty area. As the ball goes back all the way to Cataldi, he's looking for options. He's spreading his hand as Kamada is pressured by Pavlovic. And he picked him out earlier, 19-year-old Pavlovic for Bayern Munich. He's had a real breakthrough season and he's had a good game.
He's a lovely, but he's so unorthodox. He doesn't, in the nicest way, he doesn't look like a footballer the way he runs, but he's got a lovely touch and lovely balance.
A little bit of space for Lazio. Isaacson inside the penalty area, tried the pull back to Guendouzi on the edge of the box, but it's intercepted and Bayern come forward now. Here is Tell, lovely little back heel to keep the momentum of the attack going as the ball finds its way to Leroy Sané, but cleared away by Lazio. Good interception there and Kamada will bring it away. Advantage played. He was being held back by Pavlovic, but he'd already played the ball to Guendouzi, and it's a good advantage as Isaacson comes down the right hand side for Lazio. It's got to go in now. They need 2 goals or they're heading out of the Champions League. Isaacson pulls the ball back to Guendouzi. We have 2.5 minutes plus added time to play here at the Allianz Arena in Munich. Maricic plays it forward to Isaacson. Guendouzi now down the right hand side. The former Arsenal man goes, turning away from Harry Kane, who's back there defending, and Tottenham against Arsenal. Former Tottenham against former Arsenal. Tottenham wins. Harry Kane brings the ball away from the corner flag, then plays it back to the edge of the box. It's got fouled, and the referee is over very quickly indeed. And I think Cataldi might be in a little bit of trouble here. Is the yellow card out? Not quite. But referee over very quickly to make sure that didn't spill over into any more frustration.
I mean, honestly, hearts and mouths here. If you're a fan of Bayern Munich, you do not want Harry Kane to be injured. But once again, I think Harry got a bit of a fright there because he just got his foot up in time. Had it been planted, that actually could have been a twisted ankle, but he's managed to be okay. And I'm just interested to see the reaction here. It's Sané that's going off. It's actually okay. He's got a decent sort of applause from the fans. I have to say it's slightly muted. I don't think they're madly in love with him at the moment. Sané.
Well, a positive from Tuchel's perspective, at least he's got through the game. He missed the last match with injury against Freiburg, but has been able to complete almost 90 minutes, and he is replaced by Konrad Laimer. Penalty at Ipswich. Paul Scott.
A penalty to Ipswich. It is 2-2. We've got 5 minutes to play. It is Ali Al-Hamidi who's about to step up. A bursting run by Wes Burns. He was brought down by Cameron Pring, and it allows Ali Al-Hamidi to step up from 12 yards. Max O'Leary bouncing on his line. It is 2-2. Ipswich have not led at any stage this evening. Al-Hamidi steps up, and it is saved by Max O'Leary, who gets down to his right-hand side and smothers the ball and holds the ball, and it is still 2-2. 5 to play.
What late drama. The Championship, what a league.
That's incredible. I mean, and penalty kicks are stressful enough, but 2-2 near the end of the game, that's a horribly stressful time. Another substitution. They're trying absolutely everything at the moment to just kill the game a little bit, stop the flow of the game, and it seems to be working for Bayern Munich. I'm saying it's Thomas Tuchel making these changes. I'm guessing he's making them. He's not made an appearance yet, but have 4 minutes to survive after this change.
Yeah, 4 minutes of added time as Musiala is off, and the former Arsenal man, former West Brom player Serge Gnabry is on. A welcome return for him. His first appearance in nearly 3 months after injury. So Bayern play the free kick out to the right-hand side. Here is Kimmich. Bayern leading 3-0 on the night. 3-1 on aggregate. They win another throw. Full time at Barnsley. Ellen Ellard.
Barnsley 2, Bolton 2. Goals for McAtee and Pines cancelled out by Victor Adeboyejo against his former club, and Randall Williams after a penalty that Barnsley conceded at the death. It's finished here. Barnsley 2, Bolton 2.
And Lazio have won a goal kick, but they are pretty much out of time. They're pretty much done. They need 2 goals in the last 3 minutes. And Bayern, quite simply, have been too good this evening. We haven't always been able to say that this season as Lima goes down and wins a free kick. Yellow card into the bargain for Luca Pellegrini as well of Lazio. What does this do for their season? They're not, because they were 1-0 down from the first leg, it made this last 16 tie a bigger story. If they go and get knocked out in the quarterfinals, depending on what that draw is, it still doesn't really change the fact that this has been so disappointing. They would expect to get through this tie on paper.
No, absolutely. Look, they've got last chance to tell, and now they've got another last chance to tell. So they'll probably take that. You have to take that. And as a player, at least there's something to play with. He could have been out of all competitions and just seeing out the season between now and the end. A little bit of a lift here. Maybe it seems like a footnote, but Gnabry coming back now, that could make a difference. And a number of players coming back. Alphonso Davies, difficult times, had a few injuries. He's a very, very special player when he's fully fit and he's at full pace. Now to get both of them back, suddenly that far side, that's a real powerhouse. That's a real pace that they've got there. So maybe as the next few weeks, maybe the month goes on, get those 2 back and 1 or 2 others. Don't think they're going to get Koeman back. That might change the team a bit and might give them a little bit more belief they can get through to the semis next.
Bayern in possession. Here is Kimmich down the right-hand side, pulls it to Lima. Kane slips on the edge of the box. Tell will pick it up for Bayern. He's forced away from the penalty area, but they still keep up the momentum of the attack. Goal at Ipswich, Paul Scott.
88 minutes on the clock. It is Ipswich 3, Bristol City 2. Is this the goal that keeps the Tractor Boys in the automatic promotion places in the Championship? Leif Davis, with his second of the night, puts Ipswich ahead for the first time tonight. It is Ipswich 3, Bristol City 2.
Remarkable. Ipswich, who, if you're just joining us here on 5 Live, just had a penalty saved a couple of moments ago. Out to the left-hand side, go Bayern Munich. They're nearly there. 1 minute of added time to play. Now, I guess the other thing as well, Pat, is, they're out of the German Cup. They're pretty much out of the Bundesliga title race, although they'll want to keep winning just in case Bayer Leverkusen, who haven't lost all season, throw away a 10-point lead. But they can throw everything in terms of resting, in terms of rotating at the Champions League.
Here's a promise for you. That's what Thomas Tuchel will do. 100%. If you beat in the league, do you know what? Especially as he knows he's going now, he shrugs his shoulders. There's nothing he can do about that. If anyone's got any niggle, be it the goalkeeper Neuer or Harry Kane up front, you're not playing. Get yourself ready for the Champions League games, for these next 2 in the quarter-final. And lots of teams do that. The Italian teams and Spanish teams are very good at doing that. Well, this German team can do it now, and that's not something they usually can, because they usually try to win the league.
Bayern in possession on the edge of their own penalty area. The Allianz Arena is ready to celebrate this sell-out crowd, and celebrate now they can. As the final whistle goes, they were staring at the prospect of their first trophyless season, Bayern Munich, since 2012. But Thomas Tuchel said pressure is needed to bring special performances. It might not have been an exceedingly special performance, but they've got the job done. They've deserved it against Lazio, and Pat Nevin, they have a very special player indeed in Harry Kane.
Yeah, and it's not just been an Anglophile. It's the fact that there's a lot of decent players there. Guerrero's not a bad player. We know that Davison's got good quality. Dyer played well. All that sort of stuff. But if you're looking for real quality, I'm approaching world class. Harry Kane is world class. Full stop, no argument. but the rest of them, they're a long way behind. And even Muller, who's a very special player himself. So, yeah, they've got Harry, keep him fit. If you get somebody who can score when given that amount of chances, you have always got an opportunity to get through and win games. So that's what's keeping us. They love him here. And no wonder. Because if I look at that team there, without Harry Kane, you would have almost no fear at this level. But they're still in it. They're still fighting. I've got one or two players coming back. So, as I said right at the start, not the greatest Bayern team I've ever seen, but never rate them all.
No wonder indeed. 33 goals in 33 games in all competitions for Harry Kane at Bayern Munich this season. As bad as they have been this campaign, he has been brilliant. 2 tonight, 1 for Thomas Müller as well. 3-0 winners on the night, and 3-1 they dispatched Lazio on aggregate to make it through to the Champions League quarter-finals for the 15th time in the last 18 years.
Vicki Sparks and Pat Nevin are in Munich for us. Statman Dave is also with us and has been watching this evening's action in the Champions League. It took really, Dave, until Harry Kane's opening goal for Bayern to catch fire in this game, but then they strolled past Lazio. What changed for them, do you think?
I think they had a lot more confidence, and I think the shape that Thomas Tuchel's been working on, in a sense of building with maybe a 3-1 defensive midfielder and kind of that really narrow attack we spoke about at the end of the first half. And I think that really allowed them to take control of the game once they got that initial goal. I think that pressure and Lazio sitting deep and then being comfortable in that deep block was really opened up by Harry Kane's goal. And then obviously the instinctive nature of Thomas Müller just before half-time, it allows them to go in a very comfortable position. And I think when I've watched Bayern this season, when they are comfortable, when they do take leads in games, they look good. And it's kind of like the other games when they're chasing, when they're trying to make something happen. And someone like Joshua Kimmich, who's been criticised this season, I thought tonight was brilliant.